On today's episode, we're joined by entrepreneur, pop culture, powerhouse, and star of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Crystal Kung Minkoff. From building a successful business to sharing her life in the spotlight, Crystal opens up about ambition, authenticity, and what it really takes to thrive in Beverly Hills.
I remember even the cast was like, they were concerned for me because they were like, you have an eating disorder, you have body dysmorphia. Is this show healthy for you? So on my first season, I brought it up. So since I was 11, I have dealt with bulimia, and along with that is body dysmorphia. So I see myself as like 4 sizes bigger than I am in the mirror. It's just, and I'm not like a dumb person. It's like people with it has nothing to do with how smart you are. It's like you really can't see it properly. You cannot see yourself properly. The show actually has been an incredibly healing avenue for me. I get to see myself in reality. And it's been like a wild journey these last 5 years because I've spent my entire life, not just adult, my child life, looking at a mirror and looking at myself incorrectly. I've been in therapy about it. I've been a lot of stuff about it. And then I watched the show, which is not a mirror image. I'm watching myself sitting next to like Rinna, who's incredibly small. And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh, I thought I physically felt so much bigger.
Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored. And I am joined today by, well, another former fellow housewife, Crystal Kung Minkoff. Not only is she a TV star, podcaster, mother, cookware designer, the list goes on and on and on. I love women like you. You're a powerhouse. Welcome to the show. And thank you for joining me in LA in my friend's house.
Thank you for having me. And you got me a microphone to match my outfit, which is really special. So thank you.
I did that especially for you.
This house is insane. It's so classic LA. I love it.
Isn't it?
It's
Isn't it
perfect
fabulous?
for you too.
And I'm going to apologize to all of you watching me look at this huge computer screen, which I normally don't do, but I went to go and have my eyes looked at, and they put these things to make my eye balls bigger, and everything's blurry. So I do apologize. But anyway.
Well, it looks really cute, actually.
Do I look
You're
studious?
like glowing.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Crystal, the funny thing is, I mean, we've seen each other on the circuit, and I call it the circuit because, Bravo is...
It's a Bravo circuit.
It's a Bravo circuit.
Yes.
And we've sort of waved at each other at various events, but we never really connected. And we have just, since we did a radio show 2 days ago now, I think we've connected so many friends and dots between us that we know.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to have you.
What I love is that the dots are not Bravo dots. They're everything but Bravo dots. So we really have a lot of genuine connections and friendships, which is so nice. And they're all great people that we know.
Yes. Well, great people attract great people. And let me tell you, in LA, that's very rare.
Yes.
So, and I always think actually that's what does bond people. And, female friendships are a weird thing anyway, but I went out with some girlfriends last night who I've known 15, 20 years from here. And, I put them all together, and a lot of them hadn't met. And I think there's something so special about that, because LA is a hard city. It is a very hard city to connect with women, especially when you do what you and I do. Did you find it hard to make female friends here?
So I think for me, I'm an outlier. I'm from LA, which is like makes me an alien in itself. There's not many of us. I'm born and raised in the Valley here.
Oh, wow.
So my friendships really stem from childhood. And we always kind of watch, people come through LA, leave LA. But I think because I'm not jaded by the city. It's just the place that I know so well. It's the only place I know growing up, that I feel like I can not only see who's real, but also I have a lot of tolerance for people that are just trying to figure out in LA. Like, I don't look at people automatically like, oh, you're just a climber or you're fake and whatever. Like, I give space for that because I don't know what it's like to be a transplant. So I try to...
What did you just call it? A transplant?
A transplant.
What's that?
Like someone coming from a different place.
That's amazing.
A transplant.
That's amazing. Never heard that.
Really?
No.
Okay, so I try to be welcoming and get it, but then you start to really see the cracks, and then you have to get rid of them. But there's a lot of... LA gets a really bad rap, and there's a lot of amazing women here and men. You just got to kind of filter through.
I think that's like that anywhere in the world today, really.
Sure.
Everyone's trying to get someone. And I always said, every waiter's trying to become an actor and all of these things. I mean, obviously it's become very expensive to live in LA, and that kind of thing has changed now, where I think all the young was coming to try and be something else. But, also for you, when you're part of a sort of a very successful duo. You do reality TV. Your husband is massive in movies and writing and all of the above. So how did you get real friends through that and joining Housewives? Because Housewives is such a force when you live here. You joined the toughest one. Beverly Hills Housewives, I think, is the scariest one to join. If you watch them.
Sure.
Those women are, actresses. They've learned, they know their craft, they're tough, they know what to do in the camera. I don't think you had any acting experience before.
None.
How was it walking into something like that? And when you did sign, did you think about any of that, or how hard it would be for you?
So it's interesting. So Rob has been an animation director, a live action director since before I met him. And he was like, I know nothing about reality. It is a completely different segment of entertainment that I've never crossed paths with. And so when I got called during the audition process, kind of when it started becoming the last 5 is really when I started diving deep of is this something I'm really willing to do and put my family through?
Had you watched it?
I'd watched it.
Yes.
I'd always watched it. I knew sort of I would see maybe Kyle at a restaurant or something like that. But I've been friends with Kathy Hilton for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so she and I had talked over that summer about doing the show together. And they had always wanted Kathy. But outside of Kathy, I just need to know if it was right for me, because I couldn't go behind Kathy and have her as my shield, because she had never done it before. So we spent a lot of time on the phone with Rob's agents and reality agents in the office, because even his agent was like, I don't do this kind of stuff, but you really need to talk to other agents. So within Rob's agency which is an agent who represented Denise Richards and Brandi Glanville. He represented both of them at the same time.
Wow. Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but really when I
Bit
look
of a
back,
conflict of interest. Yeah.
yes, and it was the season coming off of that mess. So he was like, you really should not do the show. He said it to me.
Wow.
He's like, it's really toxic. It's really bad for your family. And Rob and I are like, ooh. So we spent the next few months really diving deep. We ultimately decided to, obviously.
So why would you decide when someone just told you? Because out of all of them, I think it's unbearably obvious that how hard Beverly Hills is compared to the others.
So when you have never done the show before, you don't have that perspective. I never looked at Beverly Hills differently. It's just the city that I lived in. So I didn't really compare cities. I went to college in Orange County, so I knew Orange County. I watched New York.
No, but I'm watching the girls fight, watching the guy. It's deep.
I didn't see it that way. It was
that way.
all fighting to
Right,
me, because I don't fight that deep. So I just thought it was all fight. It was all kind of one blur to me. But I decided, because he represented 2 women that were very opposite of my personalities. And I'm friends with Denise, but I'm not Denise Richards. She's a global actress, superstar. Yeah. Brandi was this really beautiful but messy person. I just don't fit in with that. So I just knew if I just stayed true to who I was, I could hopefully get through it.
And bring something different.
Yeah. And, it was really important for me that I remember asking when we got down to the final 3, I said, do you have any other Asian people up for this show? And they said no. And I remember feeling that was sort of my answer. This is LA. We're a huge population in Los Angeles. And there's still, at this time, 11 years have not been any Asian representation on this show. So I remember feeling the weight of the world on it, because this was mid 2020, heart of COVID, anti-Asian hate crimes. So it was sort of multi-layered for me why I said yes.
Mm-hmm. And then when you got onto the show, were the ladies welcoming, or did you find it hard from day one? Because I kind of feel newbies, I mean, we certainly got it. We get it in our show, and when we started the whole thing. But you're, I don't know, 15 years into a show, get slightly hazed.
So some girls, I would say, incredibly welcoming, were like Erica. At the beginning, Lisa Renna. They were like trying to like explain how it works, and and then I had like someone like Sutton who became a nemesis for quite a while. But I think also because Sutton was new. She had only done the show for a year. So I think she had this thing against me that was like the new newbie. So she needed to prove something. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, I think actually it's easier to go head to head with a newbie than somebody that's been there 15 years.
For sure. So I don't feel like I originally had a lot of hazing. I actually just had it with Sutton. Everybody else was pretty good with me. They were actually really inclusive with me. So ironically, I became friends with Sutton in the end. But
are your friends today?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you could redo one of your moments on the show, what would you take back or change?
I would have like fought back. This is more in general. I was more quiet than I actually am as a person. In fact, my husband would be like, "What is like watching me? Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just was so overwhelmed by the experience. Everyone had." Majority of the girls are actors. And in fact, he actually said, do you want to go to acting class before to like just get some like kind of internal strength and dialogue? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not an actor. I don't really get that. And I almost wish I did. That helped me like garner more of a way to express myself, not being fake, but just having a way, like an outlet like that. And I did it. And I look back on moments that I just was thinking about everything, my head, mile a minute, my brain, and I didn't say it out loud. And I remember the producers said, say everything out loud. And of course it's easier said than done. So that's my regret. It's just moments that I should have been more vocal, regardless of the response.
I think that's really interesting for people out there that, watch these shows and, want to partake or put your life out there. I don't think what you understand is when you enter a show like this, any reality show, and you're faced with 4 or 5 very strong people coming at you. And I'm a strong person too. And I have my vocabulary. I'm very strong. I know exactly what I want in life. But when you aren't used to it and you don't know the women, to be confronted one by one like that is a shock, I think, because in our everyday lives, we have curated a life that works for us. We would never be confronted like that.
100%.
We would never be put ourselves in this position
Correct.
to be spoken to like that. They wouldn't last 1 minute
Right.
in our normal world.
Right. But yet you have to film with them for the next
day.
14 weeks,
Yeah.
which is not correct in real life. And also, like you said, we curate a life, right? Everyone does. So I already know, or I can have stronger assumptions of what your meaning is when you're approaching me. In this environment, everyone is sort of brand new, and you're trying to assess in those moments, like on camera in real time, what that person, like their motives are. And that's not normal in real friendships. I'm not always assuming if you and I are going to have dinner and you're like fighting with it, I don't assume, I'm not looking for your motives, right? It's sort of like face value. But when you're on a show like this, I was like, I had a million things in my head. Like, why is this person coming for me? Is this for a show? Is this real? Is this, so my brain was like spinning, trying to express. And then I'm like, well, I'm also someone that doesn't speak unless I'm really ready to. And so that's really hard on a show like this. Like, that's why girls who are just like, they blurt things out, they talk crazy, like they're kind of iconic housewives because they can just spew whatever without consequence. I think about consequence all the time. That's just who I am innately. And so that was a struggle.
I think also just watching you do the hand movements, the body, that's such a housewife thing that we've been taught to do. And I have friends now that are like, why are you talking like that? And I'm like, it's so in me now.
Right.
But you're right. I think, you can't understand what it's like until you're in it, because grown women at 40 plus don't sit in restaurants and scream at each other like this normally. So your thought process has to be so much faster. And as you said, you're looking at one person and someone else comes for you. And it's very hard to find your words in those situations because also you're on the defense.
Right.
Not to mention the added layer of not pissing off the entire population with something that may come out of your mouth at that time in anger.
Right.
There are so many layers to doing these kind of things. It's actually, it's not like being an actor where you are given a script and you just read from it. There's so much more, because anything that you say can and will be held against you.
Right. It's just an incredibly unique experience. And like you said, and we've heard it all before from people who are in this inside circle, like, you will only know it until you experience it. And only the people that experience it can really understand and empathize with other people. And I, even now when I watch other reality shows, I really try and give a lot of grace, because I'm like, I know I'm missing 90% of this story. I know that I don't know everything going on. I know that I don't know how these people are really feeling, what happened minutes ago. So it's like I watch TV so differently now. And it's hard for me to watch TV, actually, because I don't really trust it anymore.
You know how it's made.
Yes. So that's an interesting new aspect of my life.
Out of all the women, because, as you said, you've watched the show, you knew what you were walking into, who surprised you the most on the cast, do you think?
I think Erica, just because Erica's sort of this caricature of a person on the show, the way she dresses, but she was actually very welcoming. But so that's what was hard, because within 2 weeks of me filming, she was like, I'm getting divorced. And then a week later, it's all the Tom Girardi stories. So I'm there when you're a newbie, you can't act like a newbie. They tell you you're now on the show, get in there, it's an ensemble cast, and start asking the questions. So I'm like, I'm uncomfortable doing that. This poor woman is just getting divorced now. And so now I have to sit in these conversations amongst these women, and they're asking her all these questions. And I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, what else? Just keep piling on. So that was probably the hardest part for me. And, but to your question, she surprised me the most.
And actually, I've met Erica, and she was so warm and kind to me. That must have been for her one of the most incredibly difficult times, to go through a divorce and a court case and hold your shit together on a show with a whole load of women who are asking you incredibly difficult questions, which I'm sure she was being asked off camera all the time anyway.
Yeah.
But, and I think that must make you, again, as it's very hard to befriend someone going through something so pivotal in their life, and we are directed or told to go in there. And normally, again, that's something you'd probably back away from as people and let people go through it.
It's not natural to ask someone that you had just met, why are you divorcing? That's not a normal question.
No.
That's for the most private, close friendships that you talk about that stuff. And that's what I think people don't realize, how hard it is to do a show like this. And then the audience will then attack you.
Why would you ask that question?
Yes.
What a stupid thing to do. You're a newbie. You've just arrived. How could you do that? But then, that's the aim of, that's the game. That's what you absolutely have to do, because then if you don't ask the questions, the audience comes back to you and says, you should have asked her, why didn't you ask her? All of these things. You're not getting into the show.
Right.
You're standing back. I think Beverly Hills also has this really glamorous sort of view to it, and everybody sort of looks up to Beverly Hills as the, Dallas of housewives in a way, and you all have these incredible homes and lives, and, dress a certain way. Do you dress like that in normal life? Because we had the same with Dubai. I think Dubai almost was too much for people to understand the way our fashions were, and it was portrayed as a city.
Right.
But I feel like the closest to us is Beverly Hills.
Sure. Yes, Dubai is on a different level, I think. With Beverly Hills, by the time I got on the show, it had already become sort of over the top with the confessionals, Erica doing all these almost costume-like outfits.
Yeah.
So I remember my friend Andrea is my stylist. She has Andrea's lookbook and Caroline's best friend. Oh. And, I talked to her about heading to the season, because if I was going to wear what I was wearing every day, it would be sweatpants, literally in jeans and a t-shirt because I'm a mom of young kids and that's all I do. But you're on the show and you have to dress, and there's a certain kind of housewife aesthetic too. So for me, it was really like, what clothes do I wear?
By the way, that's where everyone's paycheck goes.
Yes.
We are not given clothes.
No, we don't get a clothes budget and we don't get a glam budget. And because the production knows we're not going to just walk onto camera without hair and makeup, especially when everyone's doing it. So yes, your entire salary goes to that, if not more. But for me, I just wanted to really be comfortable, wear what I normally wear, but like elevate it. So I don't wear designer every day in my life, but on the show I did. And because I would wear that maybe like for a night out or a big event. So I kind of thought about it like, what would I wear if I had to go like last week to the Academy Museum for an event? Just wear that every day on the show. And so it wasn't off of what I would wear, but it was just sort of what I would wear on an extreme everyday evening,
It's really tough, by the way, getting your looks together.
It's the most painful part of the show for me.
Well, because we don't even know where we're going before the season. So you can't prepare. So, you do get a stylist. Some of us get stylists because we, didn't have time to pull. It's
a lot of clothes.
It's a lot of clothes. And also in the morning, you would get your, where you're going.
Yes.
So, we don't have weeks and months of like a storyboard that you can like choose what you're going to wear, the right thing. You need to have rails and be ready to maybe change 3 times in a day. It's really hard.
Yeah. And then what I would do is I would track the scenes that never aired and I would pull those clothes for the next season.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, because I had it already on racks. And so my guest room ended up becoming, while I was filming the show, just like full on closet for that with the shoes and the clothes and everything. And then I would just pull and I would track them because I like everything organized. So I would just track when I wore it. But I didn't it was stressful because I'm not like a fashion girl. That's not my thing at all. But I just wanted to I just like to look elegant and comfortable and like a mom, like an elevated mom. That's sort of like who I am. But like, confessionals was so stressful for me because this cast is, like you said, like they really go all out. And I just don't.
Did you feel any fashion shaming?
No, never.
Never.
I will tell you, my first week, I remember asking the girls, like, what do you think? Like, how am I doing? Because I wanted to bring it for them too, like I want them to feel like I cared about how I looked on the show, because they care so much. And they were super positive. Like, we love your style. It's great. Because I think in the past and I do know this about Beverly Hills, is little T, but like they did not like some of the girls because they didn't care about the fashion. Because they're like, we're putting so much we're putting so many finances, so much effort into it, and you're just coming in jeans and a t-shirt every day. And they feel like that's almost like, it's like Sex and the City. It's like New York is a character of the show. On Beverly Hills, fashion is also its own character. And so you want to match that and you want to make sure that like you're putting in your part.
I think that's interesting because, especially with the fashions, people follow it so much and you do become a caricature of yourself. It is us. It's exactly who we are, but maybe more of a pumped up version. And the clothing becomes a character. Would I dress the way I dressed every day in Housewives? Absolutely not. I would be exhausted. And, it's as you said, one night out or whatever, but it is a version of myself that I would like to, when you get dressed up, present yourself and you do feel good. And you're right, to get on camera and to even go through some of the things we go through, if you're dressed right and you feel good, you can actually handle the other emotional stuff that you're in.
It's true.
Weirdly, it's like an armor.
Totally. But that's what they say, in life when you want to present yourself in an interview or, you're going on a date, right? When you dress well, when you feel good, you can put your best foot forward. And so for me, it was always like, I just need to get that part out of the way. I need to know that I felt good and looked good because I've always dealt with my own like body dysmorphia issues and stuff like that. So actually that was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't want to do the show, because I didn't want people to make fun of the way I looked. Not my clothes, but like my face, my body. That was a big part of it for me. I had to go to like I talked to a lot of people to get through that.
So, well, how did you find your own peace when everyone was not only coming for you, but I mean, they're coming for you in different ways, but do you feel that it was to do with the way you look, your body, like in what way? I mean, all those girls are particularly honed and toned, and that you can see they take time to take care of themselves. I mean, you look great, but I mean, as a young mother to young children, we're not in the gym the whole time. You don't. Who has time for that routine? Did you feel like you had to get up and, be in the gym and put amazing makeup on every day? And
I think everyone was incredibly kind about that. Like, this cast is not body shamed, is not like age. Like, there are very like, everyone's beautiful here. Everyone looks great. So that was really nice.
Everyone does bring their own thing,
yes.
Really. And they do cast these shows that we are very individual characters.
Totally. So I thought that was like such a relief, because that was a big part of it. Mm-hmm. And it was also like, is the audience going to make fun of me? And so, like the things that matter in your little life before a show like this, while sounding petty and insignificant, are just kind of real things. And then once you get through your first season, you're like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about. I don't really care like what people think about my outfits or my, my makeup. It's like not that relevant anymore. But the first time you're on, it's like, that's all you can think. I don't know what else to think about at that point, But the girls are they were great about it. That was a non-issue amongst each other. No one said like, you look terrible. Everyone's like, you look great.
So you struggled with sort of body dysmorphia, in a way. But do you feel that Housewives, I mean, and being on TV, by the way, the camera adds 10 pounds, all of these kind of things. Do you feel like that's what helps you get through it? Because you just it's just so fast moving. There's no time to sort of analyze each picture and go, oh my God, this and that. And you just see yourself for you and you accept yourself.
Yeah. I remember even the cast was like, they were concerned for me, because they were like, you have an eating disorder, you have body dysmorphia. Is this show healthy for you? It actually has been.
So explain to people. So sorry.
Yeah.
That's an actual thing that you've had for years, your whole childhood?
Yeah. So on my first season, I brought it up.
Right.
So since I was 11, I have dealt with bulimia.
Yeah.
And along with that is body dysmorphia. So I see myself as like 4 sizes bigger than I am in the mirror. It's just, and I'm not like a dumb person. It's like people with it has nothing to do with how smart you are. It's like you really can't see it properly. You cannot see yourself properly.
Can you see yourself now as you are?
So
do you weigh yourself all the time?
I used to. I still do, just for my own health. Mm-hmm. I used to do it incessantly just because of my issues. But the show actually has been an incredibly healing avenue for me, because I get to see myself in reality. Whereas when I look in the mirror,
next to a ton of women,
you don't
look any different.
Yeah, and it's been like a wild journey these last 5 years, because I've spent my entire life, not just my child life, looking at a mirror and looking at myself incorrectly. I've been in therapy about it, been a lot of stuff about it. And then I watched the show, which is not a mirror image, right? And so, yes, I'm watching myself sitting next to Rinna, who's incredibly small.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh, I thought I physically felt so much bigger.
And you're not, yeah.
And so that's been really helpful for me to feel more correctly in my body. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been really positive.
And especially because, as I said, and I understand now, if you've struggled with all these sort of things in the past, to be pushed and to be attacked on a show like this, you don't know if it would trigger you in some other way. And the fact that it had such a positive outcome for you is truly amazing, because some people would fall more for feeling attacked and not being able to get out of it. And so you kind of turn to food. A lot of people eat when they, for comfort, or turn to pills and all of these things, especially being in LA. And I think, to watch you go through something like that for younger girls, and to come out the other end by being able to actually see yourself and see what is real, as it were, being given the chance to look at yourself from afar instead of in a mirror, is quite an amazing journey.
It is. Because the sort of joke about reality, right, is that it's not real. when in fact I was given the gift of seeing myself in the most real way because of a reality show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a lucky one though. And you're right. Not everyone would respond that way.
Yeah.
It just was what happened to me. Like I didn't seek that out. It just happened. I watched TV, panicked. What am I going to look like up there? And I was like, oh,
it's a very positive spin, because a lot of people with mental health or alcohol issues, it drives them back into it.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And especially because you said you actually see yourself in a mirror 4 times bigger, that watching it on TV, having the people next to you is what makes you be able to regulate what your actual size is.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't survive reality TV.
Right.
And you really are one of the lucky ones. And that's actually a very sort of positive outcome for people to look at it, because most people drown in these shows if they're not strong.
Yes. Yes. And I'm strong, but I'm lucky because I have a very strong group around me. My family, my friends, and also growing up in LA, growing up in a city where in elementary school, kids are running off to the studio to film a television show, being married to Rob and being together 23 years. You know, I know what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. And so watching him deal with actors, and it can be a little crazy, and, you know, their personalities, I've been able to, bless you. Thank you. I've been able to get a bird's eye view for so long that it helped keep me grounded, and Rob to keep reminding me of like what this experience is. Even though he had never done reality, it was really like, you got to keep yourself in check all the time.
I mean, were there any bits that, because I don't care who you are, it is incredibly hard on the spouse too. Because we get home, we talk about rubbish that's gone on in the day, and that rubbish becomes our entire lives.
Yeah, 100%.
And, you know, he's a very successful man in his own right. He's very powerful. Like, this must sound like absolute minutia to him.
Yeah.
You know, and like at the same time, you know, did it affect your marriage at all? Because most people's marriages do not survive this show. In fact, I don't know anyone that has at this point now. Kyle was the best, and now that's sadly gone too.
I mean, when I left the show, there was no one else married. And when I started the show, a lot of people were married. Kyle divorced, Dorit, Erica, everyone broke up.
So weird. I ran into PK and Mauricio last night.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
At the restaurant?
Yes.
That's so funny. That's crazy. Yes. It was
a small town.
hard on us for some things. But I think, like I said, we spoke so much about it. Not only like, it's not like we just have a strong family. It's like we have agents around us. We have all people who do these things. So they're very protective of our family. So like there was a lot of keeping checks on us.
In your worst moments, right? So you had a few moments that maybe you would have liked to have taken back, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, we all do. Did he ever look at you and go, what the actual fuck?
No, never.
Never?
Never.
Oh, I love that.
It was always, why didn't you go harder?
Oh, wow.
No, never. Not once. He would be mad at me for not fighting back. That's why he would get mad at me. Like if he ever did. Like, I don't understand why you're not defending yourself more and stuff like that. Because I just wasn't that girl. Like I'm not I'm not like an inherent fighter. That's not what I do. But he was like, you defend yourself all the time to me. You fight all the time with me. Like, why are you not out there like that? And he just wanted, I think he didn't want to see me get pushed around. Yeah. But I think the hard part was just what you described. When you're filming the show, when it's airing, it is 24 hours. Like it is, your whole life stops in real life. At least that was for me.
No, it's for everyone. I'm sorry. Anyone that says this is a 3-month gig, it's not.
No.
This is an all year round
all year
thing.
round. Yes. You get maybe like a 3-week break. But even that 3-week break, it's still in your brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that dynamic was harder because the dynamic is normally my job is like at home, I'm on the computer, 9-to-5 job, and then Rob is off working. Suddenly I'm like, I'm not going to be home until 10 p.m. tonight. Like you're with the kids. And it was like that dynamic shift.
Take a lot.
Yeah. And Rob's super easygoing, but like I wanted to make sure that our dynamic stayed the same, which is like, I'm the mom, I do pickup. So like we relied a lot on our nanny, and it's like I wanted him to still feel like
There was
our life wasn't
normal.
changing.
Yeah.
Because that's to protect our family. We've had the same family for 23 years. So like it can't suddenly become like, I'm now on a show, you have to do this. And that was really hard. And we had moments where I'm like, I just was so conscious of it,
And, what would you say is the one thing the biggest misconception about you today? Because, I mean, obviously you've left Housewives now and you've moved on. And how do you feel about that and the way you left and, the way people see you, if there's anything that you would like to have cleared up?
Well, I think the beauty of having Humble Brag with Cynthia is people get to see who I really am on a platform like a podcast like this, that I never shut up. I'm super chatty, that, it's just like a different side of me. And so it's been the most cathartic experience for me to be like, I'd rather people not like me in this environment because it's just who I am. Like, if you don't like me, that's fine. It's like politics. It's fine. Like, we can disagree. But in that environment, I think I was a little bit, and it was a version of me, but it was sort of this kind of uptight, quiet, snobby wife. That is a part of me, I guess, but that's definitely not all of me, And so it's so nice to do this stuff,
With someone you enjoy.
Yes, because then you get to really find out what's like really going in my head, because we can't talk about stuff like this on Housewives. We have to talk about the things that are storyline, right? We have to talk about who's fighting, who's angry at each other, what you did to this person by text. Like, we can't really talk about our real feelings like that. So that's why this experience is just so much better.
Well, I'm arguably coming the most successful I've ever been in my life. And I've had some ups and some downs right now. And I think it's because I have the headspace to actually focus. And I know that you've had a complete career change too, you've got your cookware line. And where did that come from?
So it's interesting. I started, I'm a co-founder of a coconut water company called Real Coco. We started that 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I went to culinary school about 15 years ago. I went to French culinary school. And none of that made it to air.
They don't really focus on our jobs. I mean, if you look at Dubai Housewives, I don't work.
Right.
Right. I don't work either.
So apparently that's what we do. We're just housewives who sit at home and we have lunches. And by the way, we do. And that's a massive part of my life. But there's also this side of it. So starting a cookware line wasn't far off from me. I've been working on a cookbook. The cookware line just made sense. And now I get to do all my cooking videos online. I was still doing it during Housewives, but it was like a massive disconnect to the audience. Like, they'd watch the show and I'm like, hi, I'm going to cook Chinese food. They're like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
And so I consistently did it till it was sort of a way to let people know you're not seeing it all. You're not seeing something that's not real. You're just not seeing the whole picture. And so I've been filming a lot of cooking content over the last, 4 or 5 years. And so starting this cookware line with Bach and Swiss just totally made sense.
I think, that's also because on the shows, you can't, if we all came to the show and hawked our, things that we're working on the brands that we're building and all of this, it wouldn't be a show. And there's always one or two people that sort of want to make it an advert. And I think the important thing is to step back because, if you are building a brand out there, I think people have to really get to know you and enjoy you. And, then whatever you do on your socials or whatever business you want to bring to the table later, people will find you and understand that it's authentically you.
Totally. And I actually am really, in a way, grateful that they didn't highlight my business because they got to know me, who I am on the show in a different way, and which I feel like has built trust with the audience. So I really did get to leave the show, I feel like, in a positive way. Everyone says that, like, it's so hard to leave Housewives unscathed, and I did. And so now I get to really promote my brands to my direct audience and the people that really trust me and value what I have to say. And it's more protected. I think you have to be careful building brands on Housewives because then it becomes a housewife type of brand. And which is fine for some types of products, but not every product. And so I don't know if my business is really aligned completely as a housewife product.
I mean, the great thing is as well, like, with Housewives, you build such a platform that you can speak to people. Like doing this, I've said, my audience has been around for a long time and only building with amazing women out there. And I use it every day and I enjoy it so much. And I think, this is such a powerful platform, which is why you have your podcast as well. And you're absolutely right. There is no way to fake it on this when we're just, talking all the time. The real you shines through. And that's what personal brands and what people want to see today. I mean, and now you've just done Ultimate Girls Trip as well. So also just keeping that one show a year or whatever it is so you stay relevant. How was that, by the way? I'm dying to do that.
So I haven't officially, they haven't officially announced it, but they showed pictures.
Yeah.
So I was there at the white party. It was great because I didn't, when you do Housewives.
I think Ayan was up there. Was she on that?
Who was?
That one? Ayan from my show?
Chanel was there, I think, at
another one.
at like a different city.
Right.
But the same show.
I don't really understand how it works.
So the concept is they picked like 6 or 7 of the OG girls, Kyle, Vicky from each city. Then they go on this quote road trip, but they're not in the car.
They stop off to see you.
They stop off different cities that are housewife cities. And so each city, they go to like what their iconic party is. So in Beverly Hills, it's Kyle's white party. In Atlanta, where they went to go see Cynthia, it was like the alter ego party that was like famous on Atlanta. So it's sort of a throwback homage show back to the original Housewives. It's the 20th anniversary of Orange County. See? So in Beverly Hills, they came to the white party.
So she's left, but she's not traumatized. And I think that's well, it's
it's real. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I think majority are.
And you're able to go back and be in it. And a lot of people walk away and don't ever want to be in it or see it again. And I think, I've been in 2 shows that have been paused, as it were. And, so for me, I'm always willing to go, but I enjoy it when I go in. I actually like the breaks.
Yeah.
Because it's a part of my life. It's not all of my life.
Yeah.
And I think, that's the best way to handle these shows, really.
But I also think because that you will come back to something, whether it's the one on pause or something else, like you just did Traders. Yeah. I think that there's a group of people that are bring backable.
Yeah.
And then there's the not. And that really shows you life after Housewives. Who are the people who are still brand building, who are still successful, because that's an authentic person who knows how to build brands, right? And knows how to like stay in line and
play the game,
right? And there's people that don't like, and you can kind of see those people while they're filming the show. Like, who are those people who are going to last? Who are protective of their brands, who protect of their family, of their own personal self. And so enjoying the break is a big part of it because there's a comfort, right? Like for me, when I left, I have to say, I did not ever think I'd be back on TV. Like really, I was like, okay, well, that was a crazy 3-year chapter of my life. And I was sad about it, but I was like, okay, well, I have my life to go back to, which made it easier. So the first call I got was actually wife swap.
How would you do that? You're still married. How do you do wife swap?
Because the married family with kids, the wife goes to someone else's house and the wife comes to your house.
Oh, how funny.
So Peacock Bravo did a show, and it was Wendy Osefo from Potomac, Angie from Salt Lake City. It was 4 other girls. So they asked me to do it. They wanted, and then Melissa Gorga did it, and someone else did it. Oh, Emily Simpson from Orange County.
That would be hilarious.
So, but I said no because Rob said no. He was like, I'm not doing a show
where you're moving into another house.
Yes. Well, he's like, I don't care what you do. Like, if you want to go do that show, you can do it. But the other woman was coming to our home filming with Rob and the kids.
Oh my
God.
God.
Me there.
How weird.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to be on television. Like,
having breakfast with Rob.
Yeah. I mean, that would be actually a great show on its own. He's
Brilliant.
So great. But he's like, I'm here to support you if this is your endeavor. But like, I'm a director. I'm not an on-camera person. I'll go to the couples dinners on Housewives with you. I'll do a scene with you to follow up of how you're feeling about a fight. But I'm not filming a show on my own. Okay. And so I remember feeling like, wow, that was my one opportunity. It's gone. And then it was like, oh, that was really the final end chapter for me. And then all of a sudden, months later, I get a call.
And that's really what happens, everybody, by the way. So,
It does.
with TV, when they keep you in the family,
Yeah.
you will just get a call one day, do you want this? And it's as simple as that. And, you get to pick and choose. They do keep you in the fold. If you stay on the right side, you can go back anytime, which is, how I've carried a career this long.
Right.
If you could give anyone just 3 tips on staying grounded, getting through reality TV, and your advice, please share it now.
I think it's really, and this is such a cliche answer, but really being true to yourself. And I struggled with that actually on Housewives because I felt like I had so many little, birds in my own ear of appeasing the audience, appeasing my friends, my family. What do I look like? At the end of the day, I know I'm not like a problematic person, like when I look in hindsight. And I know that I come from a good place. So if I really was like louder and stuck to my ground and said the things, I would have been fine because I know where that comes from. And if you know where you're coming from is a good place, be loud and proud about it. So that's one. Second, it's not for the weary. Reality is tough, and it's not what you think it is. The outcome is not what you think it is. But if you have a story to share it. There's plenty of space. People think everything is saturated.
It's not.
It's not.
And there's not a tap for success either. Like, you have to be more than this. It is not, you don't just get on reality TV and become an overnight success.
100%. 100%. And then finally, it's interesting. I think about the people who are like villains of reality, right? For specifically being, and I never wanted to be a villain. But actually, I think people who are villains are just truth tellers. And I think it's okay to sometimes be that person if it's authentic and real, and own it, right? And I think that's okay. And that could be even in your small bubble. You know, I've really, since I've been Housewives, my friends tell me like, God, you're so tough now. Oh my God, you're so direct, which to me has always been kind of a villain personality. But I'm like, no, I'm just way more transparent now. I know I can stand by what I say, and everything I tell you is what I would tell the person behind your back.
Yeah.
It's always the same story now.
And I prefer that.
Yes.
I'd much rather you said it to my face than behind my back. So thank you, Crystal, for joining me today. It has been amazing. Sorry about my eyes. Please tell everybody how they can find you, follow you, find your cookware.
You can find me on Instagram at Crystal Kung Minkoff, and we drop episodes of Humble Brag every Monday with Cynthia, and her show, Housewives of Atlanta, is coming out next month. So we're going to talk about a lot about behind the scenes. And my cookware you can find on Amazon.com, and it's on Prime, so it's always available whenever you want it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. Don't forget to subscribe.